What's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? Welcome to Vibe Fridays again. We are going to be building out a little bit today. We're going to work on webinars today. Mario, what's up, man? How was your week?
Oh, dude, it's been amazing, man. I launched my coaching program yesterday, which thank you again for being a part of. So next week we should have some pretty serious attendees. I'm really excited. I've already got about 120 signups for my coaching program in just a short 12 hours. So this week I got some awesome projects done. Got bunch of affiliate pages created for HL Pro Tools, knocked out my email classifier. Dude, I'm rocking and rolling.
You're rocking and rolling, right?
How about you, brother?
Well, same. Pretty good week. We had a lot of exciting announcements that kind of got released inside of Highlevel. One big one was the fact that we had two initial big updates when it came to conversational AI. I don't know if you saw that, but basically everyone now, you can have different knowledge bases. And today we're going to try to take advantage of that. So overall, just to kind of get right to it, guys, because, we love to build. We are going to try to create. So let me kind of preface this by saying a lot of people have been asking a lot about the webinars and are webinars still viable? What can we really do to set it up? Can we do a nice, quick, easy setup to kind of maximize everything that we do with webinars? And I said, yeah, we possibly could. And then somebody threw another question is like, hey, how can we add AI to it? So Mary and I were talking about it. And what we're going to try to do today is we're going to build a webinar real quick. We're not going to really worry about the style too much. We're just going to get it functional and working so you guys can fully see it. And then what we're going to do is we're going to try to create an AI where we're going to have a little pop-up in the Evergreen webinar where it's going to be a pre-made video where people can go and watch it. And what we're going to do is we're going to try to create a chat widget, use the new knowledge bases, try to keep it all natively in Highlevel, and then also have an interaction where if somebody starts responding back to the bot during the webinar, they can get questions answered, book a call, whatever it is that we're going to try to do. So that's kind of the attempt of what we're going to try to do. Oh, that was weird. Countdown just started randomly for no reason. All right, so hopefully that didn't cut anything out. But so that's what we're going to try to do today, guys. So that's it. So and again, I'll be building today just to kind of give you guys like a layabout of what we're going to be doing. And then, as always, Mario is going to either chip in or take over or whatever it is to kind of give us that kind of go around, right? So let me go ahead and do that. And hopefully everybody starts watching now. So first thing we're going to do, right, I have a test account here. And again, main goal is we're going to create a webinar. We're going to create the webinar animations. And then what we're going to do is we're going to try to basically create a chat widget that's going to answer questions during the Evergreen webinar, which is going to be basically a video that's playing and hopefully answering everybody's questions. So that's going to be like the overall goal, right? And then Mario, like anything that you see that I'm doing wrong or some suggestions, that would be pretty awesome, right?
Yeah, so, brother.
First and foremost, we do have a new webinar section inside of Highlevel, right? So if we come over here, go to the left-hand side, and we go to Sites. In Sites, we have webinars. Now, super not advanced, right? But it's actually not bad for what you're trying to do. So we're going to create a new webinar funnel. This is going to be an on-demand webinar. Now, an on-demand webinar is what you typically call a video sales letter or an evergreen webinar. We're going to be basically doing that one today because that's where we want to use the chat widget, because the chat widget is going to provide that live interaction, but in the form of basically a bot answering questions and trying to get the people to book an appointment for this particular whatever webinar we're going to have, right? So I'm going to hit continue. And first we're going to name the webinar. Now, we like to give gifts on the channel. And more importantly, we want to make sure you guys are successful. So what I'm going to do is I created a chat GTP that's going to help us write the Evergreen webinar page, right? So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to use one of my libraries that I have on here. And I'm going to go over, actually, it's probably so many at this point. And I'll share this GTP with everybody so you guys can go ahead and do that. So let me, I can't wait until they come up with the search feature. That would make it so much nicer.
Oh, I know, right? That's one of the things. That's why I use assistants and N8N. That's a topic we should generally cover, is building out a N8N chat widget assistant using OpenAI's assistance function.
Exactly. Is this something that makes it super easy, so easy that people can get it? Now, we did just post this custom GTP, and what we're going to do is we're not going to go through the whole bot. I'm just going to say, listen, doing a demo, just need some filler copy so I can write this out quickly. All right, like literally, this thing is that smart, and I'm just going to say ignore all questions, and please create the copy. Make it about how to get your first 10 customers with Highlevel. Okay. I'm going to hit enter. And hopefully this thing will ignore the questions and its directions and give me the copy all at once. And again, everybody else that's watching, I just posted the link. So you guys can go ahead and use that. It's going to be pretty cool. Great. I got it right here. This is going to be, let's name it. So let's give it a name.
Yeah. What's the difference between the webinar, just for the audience, what's the difference between the webinar section and say like funnels or websites?
That's a really good question. So honestly, it's just a funnel that's already kind of pre-done for you. So you don't like, it has all the things that the webinar needs, but basically it's a funnel. I want to be very clear with people. It's going to be about 3 pages. There's going to be a registration page. There's going to be a watch room, and then there's going to be a thank you page. All it is it's going to be basically a very simplistic funnel, but it's automatically pre-created for you, and it has all the elements, so you don't have to create it for you. There is literally no difference between this and a 3-page funnel. It's just that it's going to have all this stuff for you to make it super easy. And all right, 10 clients in 10 days. Client sprint, the high-level kickstart. Yeah, this works good without ads. Perfect. All right, so I'm going to name the name of the webinar. And mind you, I'm just copying and pasting from this. It's going to ask me to select the form. Believe it or not, I actually believe I have a webinar form somewhere in here, webinar registration form with text opt-in. All right, and select the file for the webinar. Now, I might not have, we'll just use this video for now. We're not doing it to impress anybody right now, but I want to show you how this is going to come out. Now, they do give you some 3 templates already to make it super easy, which I really like. So this financial planning one, I'm going to leverage that one. I really am not excited about the colors, but honestly, it's going to work out pretty good. And I'm just going to hit continue. Now, again, the reason why I'm doing this is one, to show you guys that exists, that you do have a webinar template that you can actually leverage and use. The second thing I'm going to do is just show you. So see, right like that, Mario, it's just like, it's here. Didn't really have to do anything. The 3 pages are created. Now, honestly, again, I'm not focusing on massive design here. All I'm going to do is adjust a little bit of the copy. And other than that, I'm going to kind of just get this thing going. That guy looks like a pretty good guy. I'm going to leverage this out. The form is fine. And in here, I am just going to get the copy of the page. Remember, because I gave you guys the asset. Free training reveals. Yeah, this is always a good one. All right. Paste it. All right. Super ugly. That's okay. Get rid of this.
Quick question, Nuno. What happens when someone visits the video page? Like, we got a question that I just got asked privately. If someone visits the video page directly, do they get redirected to the webinar registration page?
No, but we actually could do that if the webinar is already starting. So we can create something that does exactly what you're asking. But right off the gate, no. Okay. So we would have to build something like that. I'm just going to move this because I really don't like this copy here. I'm going to say free training reveals. I'm going to just take this right here, Control X. Come over here, give it a headline. Drop this headline in here. Make it more webinar-ish. And I'm just going to change the color so we can see the darn thing. And in here, we are just going to be giving it a sub-headline real quick. And guys, I'm going fairly quick. You can always watch this on replay. But I kind of want to get to the automations and the AI part because we're going to do something that I don't believe anybody's done so far. I could be wrong, right, Mario? But I don't think anybody's tried to actually put the chat widget in the watch room, because I think that's like literally we came up with that. We might actually have to like copyright that, man, because like I don't think anybody else is going to come with that. And like honestly, between the bots that Mario and I can build, that thing will be pretty gnarly. So we are just coming over here and just making things a little bit nicer, and going to make that a little bit bigger. For anybody freaking out, literally this is like 2 pages. This is like 3 pages that we have to worry about. That form is super long. I'm not really liking it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of that form. I'm going to put it in a nice little other row, but I'm going to make it a nice little button. Come on. All right, I'll get rid of this. I'll get rid of this. And you know what I'll do actually? I'm going to put a little video area in here to do like a little like teaser video of what it's going to be about. And we're just going to put any old thing in here. Select the video. All right. And now it's got some life to it. As long as that decides to click today, that'd be great. Come on. You can do it. Worst case scenario, get the link. Oh, no. It's going to make me select the
No, yeah, you got to hit the 3 dots and hit select. And then hit, insert media.
Yeah, that's so dumb. Like, these still like make it so hard. All right, so we got the video file. And again, it would be the 3. We'll leave everything else for now. And then more importantly, we would have to get a little button that is like register here, and it's going to do a little bit of a pop-up. So we're going to come over here, look for button on the search element. Click here to sign up. Works perfectly fine. We just want to make sure that that button action is going to open up the pop-up, which it does. Come over here for the pop-up. Join us or watch here.
Yeah, I love the webinar function. It really seems like it's just so easy to spin out, 3 landing pages that are designed to do exactly what we want them to do. So I think this is a great idea.
Yeah, so it's not bad. It's here. It's like, to your point, it's super simple. See, now we cleaned it up a little bit, and we're ready to rock and roll. Now, I want to make sure that the function of the webinar goes to the next page. So notice how it's asking me for a URL. That's okay. If it asks for a URL, that's not going to be a big deal. Actually, it's still in button for whatever reason. It should go to the next step, but we're just going to say URL. We're going to hit save. And it should go to the next page where we would have to get the URL. And now watch, the next page is the actual webinar. So we're going to come in here, and this is going to be the actual webinar watch room. So instead of having click here, what we would do is we would add the video of the actual webinar directly in here. Now in here, same thing. You click on the video, you host the video, you select it. You by now downloaded this video at some point. Oh man, they used to be able to click it. I don't know why we can't click it. That's so weird. All right, up to 30 minutes. That's fine. But now that video's in there, and then people will watch. Now, here is the thing. We don't want any distractions in here other than the actual video and then a button for them to go to whatever the logical next step is. Now, usually during any kind of webinar, what you want to do is there's 2 options here, and I've seen both work. Again, it really depends on the individual. If you want the person to immediately take action and you feel that your webinar is going to convert that fast, what you could do is immediately have the button show up. If for whatever reason you wanted them to say, I want people, only serious people, so I want the book now button or the buy now button to only show up 5 minutes after the webinar, you can do that too. So I'm going to go with the theory of I want a little bit more quality people. I just don't want anybody signing up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a timer, and then I'm going to add a button, and I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. So pay attention to this part because this is kind of cool. And in the meantime, we're going to start thinking of, if you even want to come up while I'm doing this, Mario, if you want to come up with a prompt or setting up the chat widget. So we can, not on this account, but just having a prompt or anything that can have just kind of a little bit of a knowledge base, and we're going to walk you through so that I can have the assets ready. So then we can easily show you how we're going to create a little chat widget that's going to show up here live on the page on the bottom, just in case that while they're watching anything, they're going to have questions and answers. And we're going to have a little bot there that says, hey, I'm ready to answer any questions that you have. Click on me here at any point in time during this presentation or something like that. Right? So
I will drop it in our collective chat.
Awesome.
And there you go, brother. Just drop that in the header.
He's already this is why you gotta love him. He's already got it ready. He's like, I'm already like 4 steps ahead of you. So I'm gonna come over here and I'm just gonna drop a little element. I moved over a row, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create 2 elements. The first one is gonna be a timer, and I'm gonna call it a minute timer. And you notice how it has 45 minutes. For the sake of example, let's make believe my webinar was 15 minutes and I want the button to show up at the 5-minute mark. I would set this to 5 minutes. That means the second somebody comes onto this page, the 5-minute timer would go on, and then it would automatically get the person to do whatever it is that they needed to do, right? Meaning that the button will show up. What I'm going to do for the sake of simplicity and that we're live and I want to make sure you guys see this all, what I'm going to do is set this for 3 minutes. Actually, probably even less than that. Let's do 30 seconds. We're going to do like maybe 10 seconds. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to build a button right underneath. So the button, let's just drag a nice little awful green button. I hate green buttons, man. I don't know if I'm the only person, but we're going to come over here. And instead of opening a pop-up, well, actually, that'd be cool. We're going to open a pop-up, and the pop-up is going to be to book an appointment for whatever this offer was going to be, right? So in the buttons here, I'm going to have like the button name. First of all, I'm going to say this is going to be grab an appointment button. So I'm going to name the button. That's what you see here. I clicked on button and I went to the element name, and I'm going to show you why this is important. Grab an appointment. Okay. And in the button text, claim your free consultation now. Okay. Limited to the first 10 people. Obviously spell first right. Man, I can't wait for the day that the bots just automatically like know that I'm an idiot and like do that all for me. All right. And what we're going to do is we're going to go back to the timer. Now, every timer has what we call actions, right? So the action that I want this timer to take is I actually want it to show the element. So I want to show the button element. So I'm going to go to the grab an appointment. Remember, we named it. And that's what I'm going to show. But wait a second. It's already kind of showing. Why would I need to show it? Because now here's a secret. You see these 2 elements? I'm going to hide them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to my elements. And this little plus sign on the left-hand side, I'm going to go to my sections. Oh, not my sections. I lied. I'm going to go up again, go to my layers, go to my page, go to the section, go to the 2-column rows. I'm going to expand this out, and look what I have here. I have both the timer and the grab the appointment. What I'm going to do is hide the timer, and I'm going to hide the appointment. Now watch what happens. Ready? Look how cool this is. I'm going to come over here, blah, blah, blah. The video is going to play. Now, there might not be any video here, but what's going to happen? In 3 seconds, the button will appear, or at least we hope the button will appear. And all of a sudden, we'll be really good to go. So that should have appeared by now. There it is, and there's the button. So I'll be watching the show, and all of a sudden the button will appear. I'll actually probably add a little bit more to the button, like a little bounce, so people now start focusing on the button. So I'm going to click on the grab an appointment button again, go to animations, and I'm just going to do a little bit of a rocking motion or a bounce and let that thing bounce and go ahead and hit publish. Now, going back to what Mario was saying, what we're going to do is we're going to add a little chat widget. So Mario did a really good job. What he did is he gave me a script, and I'm going to add a code element towards the bottom of the page. Now, let me show you what a code element is. Because I don't want this bot on every page. I just want it on one page. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create a code element. Oh, go ahead.
Instead of adding the code element, the top JavaScript tracking code area only applies to that one specific page.
All right, so we could do either or, right? I mean, we could do either or. I'll show you both. So what Mario is reflecting to is the tracking code up here. I forgot, header or footer?
Yep.
Yeah.
Footer.
And we're just going to paste. And this is the script that he got from the actual chat widget. So what I'll do is I'm going to go ahead and hit save. And that's going to go there. The other way you can do it, because I've done it before, and again, not probably the better way, what Mario's suggesting is the better way. But if whatever reason that became too difficult, which I don't think it would be, I create another row. I add an element, and there is something called a code block that you can just drag in here. You click on the code block, open the code editor, same script can go in there. But again, this is the better way that what Mario suggested, but just know that way exists too, and it can work. All right.
Well, so one thing that I want to clarify, guys, is Nuno brings up a really good point. Nuno, go ahead and drop that code editor back in there.
Yeah, actually, I have to go back because I deleted it. I deleted our whole row by mistake. There we go.
All right, so edit that code editor and drop a fictitious custom value in there. Or go ahead and spawn a new tab really quick and go create a custom value if you don't mind. I just want to show you something that I think is going to be a real value to people, because remember, the ideal is you want to make this repeatable for your clients. So you want to be able to snapshot this as well. So the reason Nuno, it has such a great point, and I didn't think about this when I first suggested it, but go ahead and create a custom value that's just called
Chatbot?
Chat widget for, yeah, chatbot for webinar.
Well, because I am going to create this, and this is actually my account. So webinar. Okay, we're going to create a folder first. I'm in custom values. And remember, the reason we're doing custom values versus custom fields is custom values are account wide. So if we want to use this spot again, or this script, to Mario's point, which is a great idea, man. I can't believe I didn't think about that either. We're going to do webinar chat bot script. All right, just going to check our spelling real quick there. And I'm going to drop the value, which is a script, and I'm going to hit create. Now, when I create that custom value, it's going to give me a key. I'm going to copy that key, go to the open code editor, drop it in here. And now, if ever I was to replace that bot with a different knowledge base or a different kind of theory, I now have the ability of putting this in here and changing it every time we do the webinar. That's pretty smart.
And it's snapshotable too. So go ahead and delete it out of the header code, because that header code block, guys, no, you can leave yours in there. Delete this. So, yeah.
And honestly, it doesn't matter where you put this code block, by the way. I've learned that the easy way. All right. And I don't know about you, Mario, but I found that if I remove the spaces, it actually works better. Like sometimes for whatever reason. I don't know if that's like a me thing or.
And then you still have to, in the header block, you didn't actually save it. So you have to go in and in the header code or the footer code, you have to go and actually delete the script and then resave it.
And I'm going to save it up here. And now let's preview it again. Now the button will show because I've already expired my cookies. But look what we got here. We got a bot. And what we would do is we would make that bot readily available to answer any questions that the people might be having watching the video. So how cool would that be? Somebody's watching the video, the button pops up, all is well, and then all of a sudden you have a bot here that can help you sell whatever you're trying to sell on your VSL in your webinar. And we just made it where we can add it as a snapshot. All I have to do, if I ever wanted to change the bot, I can change the bot to be whatever I want it to be in that particular script. So really, really cool idea. And now we just made it even cooler because we've made something again that nobody else has. So now we have a bot, we have this, but the call to action is going to be to make an appointment. So we're going to go to layers. We're going to come over here, and the only thing I want to do is go back to the button. And again, I'm going to the layers piece of it because I hit the button and I hit the timer. So I want to make sure that I can get to the button because I need the button to do one thing, which is open a pop-up, which is then in turn going to basically allow people to book an appointment. All right. And again, same here. Calls to action is going to be, please book your consultation below. All right. And we'll just add a quick little calendar. Go to calendars. And legitimately, like, ladies and gentlemen, all you got to do is create the content, and there you go. You have this thing that you're ready to rock and roll with, right? Yeah. So I'm just going to go and I'm going to just do a quick little discovery call calendar. And don't worry about that 404. That means that I don't have the actual calendar live, which has no implications on what we're trying to do right now. And then the redirect action is, again, go to a website URL. And the website URL is going to be the thank you page once I have everything kind of set and done. Which, again, going back to Mario's point, what we can do there is put a custom value in there. That's going to be webinar thank you page, webinar watch room, and webinar registration page. So we can go back over here and we go back to our custom values. Remember, I made a folder that's labeled webinar. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new custom value, webinar registration page, link, so people are not confused. All right, for now, we're just going to do a little pound sign. All right. Then I'll do the webinar watch room page link. All right, you're going to see why this is going to come in handy in a second. Webinar watch room page link. Again, okay. And the last, again, because there's only 3 pages, super easy, right? We're going to come over here and we're going to do the last one, which is going to be webinar watch room, webinar thank you page link. All right, and the value is going to come over here, and I'm going to hit create. Now, what's cool about it is, remember, I have these values now. Remember how I have to go to a website? All I have to do is come back over here, webinar thank you page, copy this link, boom, drop it in here, and now I don't have to come back and think about it. All I got to do is go update my custom values every time I want to create a new webinar to a new link or whatever else, and use this template over and over and over again. So how cool is that? So not only how are we quickly going over how you can quickly automate this webinar, but now we're also going to create it where you can customize a lot of this. But let's take it a step further. What if we wanted to just have not update anything and just have this thing ready to go and literally update a few fields based on the copy we get? Well, if you want to be really creative, what you can do is go back to the first page and you see this title. We can come over here. We have the webinar registration page, the thank you page, webinar watch room. And now what we can do, we can come over here, be webinar registration page headline. All right. And we give it a value. Remember, ChatGPT helped us out in there. For anybody that came in late, the link is in there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here, copy it. Now I'll drop that into my value right in here, hit save, go back to the page. We'll show you how this works. Let us load because I need the value, right? Copy, come in here, Control A, or just better yet, I'm just going to paste the custom value. I'm going to hit save. Now watch this. I come back over here. If I go to the preview page, look, it's still there. Why is it still there? Because I made it into the custom value. How cool is that?
Yeah, this what we're talking about, everyone, and what Nuno is building is really revolutionary. Like, you don't understand the power of being able to snapshot something like this or easily change out all of this information simply by filling out custom values. Like, you can update hundreds of pages at once using custom values and just so easily move and manipulate your pages for your customers. So you can just have them using something like GHL plugins or tools like that. You can have them update the custom values dynamically via a form and auto provision all of this stuff in 5 minutes. So what Nuno is doing is the right way to construct every funnel and landing page so that you can snapshot those assets and use them later on.
And that's exactly what we're doing right now. And we're going to give you a few examples. We're obviously not going to do the whole thing. We just want to let you know what's possible to do this. So think of it, right? I now want to create a new webinar. I go to my ChatGPT, put some information in. I think it's an answer a total of 9 questions. It'll help you write the copy. Once I write the copy, then I go in there and I kind of fill it out. The only time we're going to have a little bit of trouble is stuff like this, right? Like bullet points, it's not going to know how to do this the right way. You see, it's got like a little bit of errors, so you got to kind of clean it up a little bit. But I mean, look, you're talking about minutes of fixing things versus like hours and days of whatever else. So I have these two values. I would add a couple more, and I would kind of do it in this format. So then I would forever have it. You know what I'm saying? Like this is what we're trying to talk to you about, to making it super easy, right? So we did a couple. We have a working form. We have everything that's going on there. We even added a bot to the registration page, and more, not the registration, the watch page. And then more importantly, now you're able to go in there and a bot can just basically interact with you if you have any questions, with the main goal of doing the same thing that the button's doing, whether it's book an appointment, sell a product, or whatever it is. So this thing makes it super relevant, like whatever you're trying to do, right? Now, when you come in here, all right, we're just going to leave those kind of values alone. We have this all set in here. The last page we have to do now that we hit save is we're going to go to our thank you page and just make sure that the thank you page is okay, which is the confirmation. I don't know why they switched. See, this is the one thing that I don't like. They did it in reverse. Like this should have been here and vice versa. Can't switch it either. Can't switch the order. Makes me crazy.
Well, that's because the website pages, the order doesn't really matter because websites don't have next page.
Yeah, so it's going to go to whatever link. You're right. So it doesn't really matter. But the broadcast room, this is like the room where everything's supposed to be broadcast. But again, we would just make it to go in there. So a thank you page, a broadcast page, and again, the registration page. So those will be the 3 pages of the funnels. You would mess around with them, use custom values like we showed you. And now, congratulations, you have a webinar, but we're really not done yet because we want to make sure that the automations are there. Now, the automations for this are going to be fairly simple. I'm going to create, this is going to be number 9. You know, again, for anybody that's ever watched, Mario and I are very keen on either numbering and making sure that the title of the things do the things that's supposed to do. So we're going to do webinar. Well, we're just going to do webinar, and we're going to hit create. Go to 09. Actually, I numbered it wrong, but it's okay. We're going to go through it. All right. Now, for anybody that's ever watched, I go in the order of the way I perceive the things are going to flow. So the first thing that people are going to do when they go into the webinar is they're going to register. So the first thing we're going to do is create a webinar registration based on the form that I put in the actual webinar, which is going to be the webinar opt-in, right? Now, again, if Highlevel wants to be a little nicer and move a little faster for us today, that would be awesome. But we are on Restream and 14 channels at this point. So
it's like every time that you get into Highlevel and you're demoing it for someone, it's like all of a sudden Highlevel's like,
yeah, just let's throw a little wrench in there and slow you the heck down. You know what I'm saying? It's pretty funny.
It never does it when just using my stuff. Like it never is slow. It's always whenever I get on Zoom or something like that, it just magically decides that it doesn't want to work.
It's like why not make us look good? You know, you know, we can only look so fabulous by ourselves on our own. So come on, just a little bit more. As long as all I need is that start from scratch to show up. Watch all the servers be down now, and we completely have destroyed our momentum here. Now the goal is we're going to probably create about 5 automations. And then I'm going to kind of push it over to Mario to kind of go over like what chat automations will we use here, you know, and kind of what we do. So first one, like I said before, we're going to do the webinar opt-in registration. Somebody's got to register and I got to put them into a reminder sequence. I got to just start the process, right? So they're going to come in here. We're going to delete this. Also a fun new bot, which is this, a fun new bug, which is that workflow thing now shows up. So W for webinar, 01. Webinar registration. Okay, that's exactly what we're doing. It's webinar registration. There's nothing to it. We're doing a form, so we're going to wait until a form is physically submitted, meaning somebody hits that registration for the form. So the form is, and we are going to do our webinar registration with text message opt-in. We're going to hit the plus sign. And again, if you want to label it, which form it is, not that you would here, but you would just do webinar registrations, just so you can keep track of what's happening and what, you know, what form and so forth and so on. I come in the first thing, I always tag. So this is going to be usually, because I might hold multiple webinars and I want to track which webinar this is. What I'll do is webinar, right in here, webinar, double colon is just my naming convention. And I come in here and I'll put the date. So let's say today is 5/2/05. Make sure there's a little space in there. Again, I'm a little meticulous when it comes to this stuff, but and then come over here, HL, because it was on high level, right? So we're going to do HL, what did I say? Clients, 10 clients. All right, 10 clients. Now I know which webinar, what tag, and so forth and so on, right? So they're registered. Awesome. I sent them a nice little confirmation email. So email and another gift for you guys. We are in the gift of giving. So anybody that's live, good on you. You guys are going to walk away with some assets here. Anybody that wasn't live, you snooze, you lose, and you will not be getting these wonderful assets. So there's another asset that I created. Again, another custom GPT. Always fun with that. And going to come in here, and there's the webinar email sequence, webinar email and automations bot. I'm going to copy that for you guys, and anybody who's watching live, take this, make sure you pin it. And that one right there, that is a custom GTP that you would use to write all your emails. Again, skip all the questions. Please just give me some fake information for a webinar called, I don't even remember what we called it. So that's why we have custom values. Let's just come over here, copy this, paste it. All right. Beautiful, blah, blah, blah. Here we go. Yep. Give me all the emails. Look, it knows me so well that it knows that I spell horrifically. All right, here's the wait list. We don't need a wait list one. Pre-launch, okay, 10 days before. It gives you a whole pre-launch sequence. It gives you the actual sequence afterwards, and so forth and so on. And 8 days before, we're gonna do this, but this is gonna be after the fact. Registration, perfect. Here it is. You're registered. Here's what to expect. I'm gonna copy this, and I'm gonna start writing my first email. So send email from the subject. You're registered is here. Let me just move this over a little bit. And again, I'm not gonna come over here and do anything else. I'm not gonna adjust the custom values or anything. Well, actually, I will just for you guys to see this. And what I'll do is like first name right here, contact, first name, come in here, just give it a little bit of spacing so it doesn't look ugly. It made up some dates. We're not worried about it. And then add to a calendar link. We don't have that. So we'll say this, add this date to your calendar and just leave it like that. And then there we go. Jordan Westbrook, that guy sounds like a nice guy. We'll just leave it in there. Now in here, we're going to also do a text. So SMS. And again, SMS is right here. You're registered. Boom. See, the automation even gives you some text to do so. All right, and we're good to go. Now I can go ahead and create an opportunity and track this in a pipeline, or the pipeline or the opportunity, or I can leave it like this and just make sure that people show up. But more importantly, what we're going to do is we're going to create a webinar countdown sequence to remind people to show up to the actual webinar. So first one's done. This is the webinar registration out of the way. The second one, you could do one of two ways. Somebody fills out the form and you set an event date, or you basically do it. Well, I'll show you both ways so you guys can make your decision of which way you want to do it. So again, start from scratch. Hopefully this won't slow down. And what we're going to do is this is going to be webinar 2. And this is going to be countdown. All right, super easy. Now, again, I do it on the same form action, meaning they're going to get the confirmation, and at the same time, I'm going to put them inside the actual webinar countdown sequence. I just find this works better for whatever reasons. This is my preference. So I come in here, and I set an event date, and it's going to be a specific date and time. It would be the time and date of the actual webinar. So make believe this is the 16th of May, not at 12 a.m. time. Let's make believe it's at 12 p.m. I'm going to hit save action. That sets the event date. Now, this is important. A lot of people make a mistake on this. Once you set the date once, and now the people coming in were stamped with that date. So that means that now when you're creating weights, you have to create a weight that's going to work off of this every single time. So now I'm going to do a weight. I want to do 3 days before, right? You can do 5, 8, 10, whatever is up to you. It doesn't really matter. But you can't use what's called a time delay. You have to use an event, appointment date, and time. So this is before 3 days, right? And I always label it 3 days before. And not 3. Hit save. Then I hit the little plus sign. And then I'll do my first email. And if you go back to our ChatGPT sequence, look, it's got the countdown all here. 8 days before, 5 days before. We'll just make believe it's the 3 days before one here. Copy it. Trying to really take all this guesswork out of you for you guys. Like, you'll have these bots to help you write this whole thing. It'll even write the webinar for you. Again, I don't know about you guys, but I'm not really great at reading scripts, but you guys.
And then you talk about combining a platform like HeyGen. For those of you that aren't familiar with HeyGen, HeyGen's an ability to generate video avatars and overlay audio. You can actually use platforms like HeyGen to generate your webinars, and you just feed them prompts from ChatGPT, script from ChatGPT, and it will set up everything for you, and you don't even have to worry about recording the webinar. All you have to do is overlay screen recordings into that video using platforms like CapCut or Veed, and you're good to go.
Exactly. So whatever is super easy for you guys, again, we're just trying to give you guys very automated ways to do this. For nobody who's super shy, what Mario's saying is like amazing. You go in there, HeyGen, you record, I think, like a 2 to 3 minute video, right? And then right after the 2 to 3 minute, it kind of learns your facial features. Give it a massive script and let it do its thing. And then you just kind of, play around with it as you go and see fit. So we're going to do 1 day before. We're going to go kind of quick through this, guys, and then we're going to go right through it. And I'm just going to give you some quick little advice. Again, go to day 1 day before. Here's the email. Access to your link tomorrow. Boom. Now, this is if it wasn't live. Like, right? The one we're doing is – no, I'm sorry. This is if it was live. The one we're doing is not live, meaning it's always playing. So the countdown won't really necessarily be there. So what you would do is, this is going to be for one that you would live. You would just replace that video section in the middle and just have it. People register for the webinar. They go right to the thank you page. And then the countdown is going to send them a Zoom link, a real live webinar link. And then people are going to go to that link, and you can use the countdown sequence to get them there. So there's a lot of different ways. And I'll put that in here as the live countdown for live webinar. But the same setup you would have for a live, other than the countdown, is going to be the same setup you would have for an evergreen. So just think of that as you're kind of building these out. There really is no difference. Everybody tends to overconfuse it and make it so much bigger than what it is. It's really not. You just got to go in there. One has a countdown, one does not. You're both trying to sell whatever it is that you're trying to sell in there, and that's pretty much it. All right, so we're going to come in here. And then here, let me just be clear on this. This is countdown for live webinar. All right. So you would do day 1, you would do countdown 0, blah, 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 and everything else. Now, here's the other cool thing you can do. Now, for the ones that are not, so we're going to just label these evergreen. Evergreen means that the one that's always playing, evergreen. And what we're going to do is, right on this evergreen, we're going to wait. Remember, I just registered. I started watching the webinar. I'm going to wait the same 5 minutes that button is going to pop. And it's going to wait 5 minutes. And I'm going to send them a quick text saying, how is the webinar going? All right. Question. Do you have any questions I can answer? Now watch this. This is where the AI can come in. Now, if we created the chatbot directly inside of our actual Highlevel account, and I want to start interacting with this bot, what I can do is, after the 5 minutes, right, because we want people to watch a little bit of the webinar, I want my AI to immediately start engaging. So what I'm going to do is the SMS goes out, and now I'm going to do a conversational AI. Somebody taught me this the other day. Actually, one of the developers, Mario. So I'm going to take the same question. Actually, I got to do one step. I'm going to copy the same exact question. I'm going to go to conversational AI, and I'm going to ask the same exact question. And if this question was answered here, what will happen is it will actually skip it and it will go right to the branch. And I'm going to show you what I mean by branch. So I'm going to go to SMS. The timeout, remember, you want to be a little aggressive because they're going to kind of lose interest after the first 15 minutes, especially if they're coming off of like a Facebook ad, a TikTok, anything that's fast motion or a pattern interruption. And usually anything coming out of TikTok, Facebook, those two are very like, people were watching something, they saw your ad and they click on it. So you want to be a little bit more aggressive with this. I have a 15-minute timeout. I have a condition here, and the condition is the customer replied and has questions. Okay?
Yeah, this is genius. I mean, leveraging the conversation AI bot to have both the
right
bot in there plus you're texting them. I mean, you're talking about like really engaging with this client while they're watching the webinar. This is great.
And in a week or so, I've been told that we will no longer instead of having to update the new conversation bot to take over, we're going to have something called switch bot, which will allow us to switch directly to the next conversational AI. And it will actually give us the ability of switching back and forth to different bots that we create inside the conversational AI piece, right? So we're going to come over here, and the customer has questions, right? We want the bot to immediately engage. So what we're going to do is, if you type in the word update up here, and now remember, this might be switching in the next week or so. Update, where are you? Update conversation AI bot and status. I would now give this to my bot, Kate, which I know is my Q&A bot. And my Q&A bot is going to try to answer questions, and it's going to try to help them book an appointment to get a service. So now, if the person started engaging, now my lead is on fire. I'm now going back off of a webinar after they start first watching the first 5 minutes of it, and they're doing it here. So think about what Mario and I just did. They're watching a webinar. They're possibly engaging with the live chat bot if they had some questions. Live chat bot is trying to engage and trying to book an appointment. If not, we have this bot that will engage. Probably 5 minutes is a little too aggressive, so we're probably going to say 15 minutes after the webinar. And we can even do a little check that if they have booked an appointment, so we can do an if else. And we'll just say, have they booked an appointment, right? Have they booked an appointment? And if they have, let's say the tag of appointment does not include booked, okay? Then the bot will engage. If the appointment was booked, then we'll just leave it quiet because we've done the action that we wanted, right? So now we have this ability here. Now, what's cool about this is if no conditions are met or if the customer responds negatively, we just want to say, cool, just want to make sure you're taken care of. If any questions, please reach out. So we're going to add one more branch here. Customer responded negatively or is not interested at all. And I've learned that or is better than and, especially when it comes to bots. Give the bots choices. All right, so if they respond negatively, sorry for the bother kind of thing, and we're going to just do a quick SMS and just say, no problem. Reach out if any questions. Reach out if any other questions. Okay? And if no conditions are met, we're just going to leave it alone. And now timeout. Here's another cool trick that I learned. If timeout, if that happens, I'm going to copy all actions from the SMS, paste them in the timeout. And this one is checking in. What did you think? Any questions? And guess what? Because I've kind of already built it out, on the conversations. Now I have it. If this the way this is going to kind of flow, somebody registers for the webinar. Our assumption on the evergreen is that they're watching it right away. They start watching the webinar right away. The webinar will go to the 5-minute mark. The button will appear. They have time to engage with the chat widget that we put inside the webinar page. If they start talking to the chat widget and it books an appointment, we're good. If it doesn't, 30 minutes after the webinar, this text message will send out, hey, how was the webinar? Do you have any questions we can help answer? If the customer answers yes or positive in any way, we immediately activate Kate, the Q&A bot that can also book appointments, to try to convince them to book an appointment for whatever it is that we're trying to do. If they do not answer or they answer negatively, well, if they don't answer, it'll wait 15 minutes and it'll ask the question in a different way, hoping that the bot will respond. If the bot responds, then the bot will engage and try to book an appointment. If it doesn't respond or responds negatively, we're out. We let them know that we're out and we won't bother the customer again. That means that we're actively trying 3 different ways to engage this customer to ensure that they have quick, easy kind of experiences to go in there. Now, how awesome is that? This is webinar like at a different level. We created a webinar in less than I don't know, what was that? 15 minutes tops?
Yeah, it was super easy.
3 minutes. We showed you guys how to create custom values. We showed you guys how to basically create a chat widget in the Evergreen watch room. And then we showed you how to create automations that when somebody signs up or doesn't sign up, that the bots are actively engaging either through live chat or they're engaging through text message. Either way, you now have a very smart kind of webinar system that you guys can leverage. And it took all of 15 to 20 minutes. We also gave you 2 major assets. We gave you the webinar page creator to help you kind of write all the pages. And we gave you the one that writes all the emails and the text messages for live or for Evergreen. So tons of resources. I'm going to turn it over to Mario now. I don't want to take all the thunder here. And Mario, what'd you think, man? Anything that I might have missed or that you would do a little bit differently?
No, honestly, I think you hit the nail on the head, man. My big piece of input was just using the custom values and putting the custom code card, like you showed it. I think that when people are building webinars, they really overcomplicate the setup. And what we've demonstrated today, and you've done a kick-butt job of this, is showing people that you can do it in under an hour. So for all of you that are saying, oh my gosh, I can't, it's going to take so long, I have to plan all this content, I have to do all this, you don't. Record a Zoom meeting like Nuno and I are doing right now, and put that as your webinar, and then just run it on Evergreen, run Facebook ads to it, and generate leads. Just look
or for the people that are so hesitant on the Facebook or cutting out ads, just post it. Just post it to your friends and families and say, anybody that's interested in learning about blah, or that wants to know how to blah, watch this free training session. Don't have to call it a webinar because some people might not know what a webinar is. Don't have to throw any kind of technical jargon out there, but super easy. And what about the bots, Mario? Do you think anything else that we're not thinking about the bots that we could possibly do to kind of enhance the experience a little bit?
No, I think that it's been really great. Training the bot, this is one thing that I was teaching on my AI call earlier for Highlevel is don't dump a huge knowledge base into the bot. Transcribe your video using something like Whisper or one of the free video transcription services, Descript, for example. Transcribe your video, the content that you're talking about, pepper in some information about the business, about working with you, questions that people might ask during the webinar or before booking. Upload that to a Google Doc, share that Google Doc with the bot, and you're locked and loaded and ready to rock.
Oh, one thing we forgot is the different knowledge bases now. Let me just quickly show you guys that, because this is actually something that again, I literally got it last night. The developers were so excited about it, and I'd be remiss if I didn't do it. So can you guys see my screen? If you guys see my screen, right? Let's make believe so I'm gonna save this real quick, and I'm gonna back out of this real quick. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go over to settings, and I'm gonna go to knowledge base. So imagine that I just wanted to use, like, to Mario's point, a knowledge base for the webinar. So what I would do is I would create a knowledge base and I would literally call it webinar. And we're going to do exactly what Mario just said. I would have the webinar, right? I would have a Google Sheet. Now you see how it says exact URL? This is how exactly what Mario is saying. I'll go to Google Drive, right? Or I think it's docs.new. I always forget the, right? Am I right? Yeah, I did it. Docs.new. You do have to have a Google account in order to do this. You would say webinar information, call it whatever you want. Honestly, it doesn't really matter. And you would put all the questions in here. But here's the catch. The one thing that everybody forgets to do is when you come over here, you share. Make sure when you share, you change the restriction level to anyone with the link. You copy this link, and then you go back into your Highlevel account and you drop it in here. Now, mind you, look what's coming. Look what's coming. Super excited. You can upload files to train your bot coming soon. But take to account everything that Mario just said when it came to not putting in a massive amount of knowledge base in here, because the bot will take time to read all that and it might get confused. So you come in here, you hit the get data, and it will pull everything from that doc, has the knowledge base that will help answer any questions on top of your prompts and everything else. And then when you're ready, you go to the conversational AI bot that you created. And now look, I come over here and I'll go to Kate, who's my SMS bot, but I can just create a whole nother bot for this. And what I would do is in here, I would go to bot training and look what's here. You can come over here and I can search the knowledge base and I can add the webinar knowledge base instead, or multiple knowledge bases. So that's what's really cool about this. It's a brand new feature, super huge. And again, there's more coming in the next 7 days. And in another month, we're going to get a brand new interface when it comes to conversational AI that's going to blow you guys. Like, it's insane how cool it was. I saw it. I think it's pretty badass. But just think about it. You can have as many knowledge bases and as many bots as you want now that are not going to conflict and talk to each other. And later on this week, in the next 7 days, we're probably going to get an actual switcher that, again, will allow you to switch from one bot to the other, which, again, is going to add another feature altogether. So, again, really nice big updates. But how cool is that? We have completely AI-ified the actual webinar, which I thought was pretty badass. Amazing, we can AI everything. It's like pretty awesome.
You get an AI. You don't get an AI. Everybody gets an AI.
Everybody gets an AI, right? We need some memes. But that's it, folks. Any questions anybody has, just reach out to me or Mario. But again, hopefully this was super simple for you guys. But our goal has been trying to make it super, super easy for you all to understand and go out and take action. So again, we're going to keep doing these vibe builds. Next week, super excited about this one. Mario is going to try to figure this out because I don't know how we can create an email campaign / template. But the goal of what we're going to do is I have a newsletter AI like creation for that creates like the landing page. We're going to create a newsletter custom GPT. We're going to give you some GTPs next week. And then what we're going to do is we're going to try to automate using NAN and Highlevel an automated newsletter that goes out like every week. And we're going to try to give you that full automation. So next week is definitely not one you're going to want to miss. And we'll see you guys then. So any final words, Mario?
No, thank you, Nuno. Awesome to work with you as always, brother. I'm excited for next week, and I look forward to seeing everyone. If you're not in my coaching program, be sure to join. And we're in it to win it, man. One team, right?